You're watching a clip from the Club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
So here you go. Is a lovely clip from our podcast. I'll tell you who's awoken. Inter Miami have woken up with Lionel Messi as one of their players. It did look like for a little bit Lionel Messi could be joining Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema over in Saudi Arabia. A deal has been agreed for him to join Inter Miami. The one thing I'm gutted about is Phil Neville got sacked just before we could see him manage Lionel Messi. I think that would have been one of the greatest partnerships of all time. Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan stuff, that would have been. But Lionel Messi is going to Inter Milan, $150 million across 2.5 years. In fact, let's bring in our lovely Stokey to tell us just what's going down in Lionel Messi's contract.
The reason he's turned down $2 billion in Saudi is because he's getting Inter Milan wages, a share of Apple TV revenue.
Miami.
They've got the rights. Into Miami. Apple TV revenue because they've got the rights to the league. A personal deal with Apple, and they're going to make a movie/documentary. He gets a share of the Adidas MLS sales, and he gets a personal Adidas deal for the club because it's the first Adidas club he's been at, and he has an option in buying part of an MLS club.
Which was, is it a similar kind of deal to the one Beckham had when he ended up with...
Beckham had the club to himself. This is just
he had the franchise, so he's got a percentage in it. But any franchise, for example, if Lionel Messi became part of Inter Miami's franchise, the club may be worth 100 million. He's probably worth more than 100 million now, but then Messi comes in, it's worth 300 million. So you're 20% that you've given him. It doesn't matter anyway.
When you talked about...
Sorry, Finton, to cut you off. For Beckham, he got the option on 25 mil, and the club's now worth 600 mil.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Beckham took a massive pay cut to go over, but realistically, it just worked out as a genius play, made him a billionaire. Unbelievable. 1
second, let's just get through this Inter Milan attack. Ball into the box, well cleared
This is
by
dangerous now.
whoever that was, Ruben Diaz.
They need a tactical foul immediately.
Good tackle there by Inter Milan. They win the ball back. Inter Milan are pressing high up the pitch at the moment, which is what we didn't expect them to do. But again, moving back to this Lionel Messi move, what do you think it could mean? Or does it mean nothing? What does it mean for the MLS?
I think it's going to get bigger. It's going to get massive. People are going to want to watch him. They have a stadium that holds 15 or 16,000 people, which is a big problem. It's going to sell out tickets. America's massive. Football's getting bigger. Beckham was the original person who went over there and changed the game. And more people are getting into it.
You had the likes of Pele back in the day as well, Georgie Best and all those kind of guys. But the more modern era that made it more sexy to the modern people. Yeah.
But it hasn't quite worked before, has it? Like, I remember when the 1994 World Cup was there. Like, part of what the motivation there was that was going to be the birthplace. And I think there was even talk in kind of political conversations around that World Cup was that at some point, maybe 20 years from then, America was going to win a World Cup. Like, that was, get the World Cup there, create a hotbed of love for football, and then America as a country will benefit.
I know it's kind of like different worlds. But in terms of the women's game, it has happened. Like, the women's game over there is huge. And in terms of the World Cup and the world international level, but you're right, the men's game, we haven't seen that maybe growth, although maybe the growth has been slower. And then you start to see now, what I find, when we talk about the 94 World Cup, for example, we had those stupid penalty shootout things, Diana Ross running on the pitch and all that. Yeah. Remember, it was like America wanted football to change to the Americans. And now I feel like when you watch the MLS, I don't watch a huge amount of it, but I see some teams on socials, the fan engagement and all those kind of things. I follow the Cooligans and that.
They've become a bit more European, haven't they?
Yes, the fan bases. So they've kind of, I think the appetite for football over there is bigger. And because they've got an interest in the Premier League, in the Champions League, in all these leagues, it's easier to sell that to them now. Also, you look at Messi to the Hispanic audience over there. It's going to be so big, man. So I think it's changed. I think Messi will obviously help it change, but ultimately, the biggest impact this will have is on his skyrocket, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the point of this move? Is for Lionel Messi to
personal
make
brand.
Personal
brand. Yeah. I would have loved if after he won the World Cup, he just pieced out. He just left at the very top. It's never really done because there's just so much money on the table. It's an easy gig. But imagine he had just won the World Cup, not going to go anywhere from there. I guess PSG were still in the Champions League and there was the chance that maybe he could add that to the collection. But
the trouble is you can't walk away from that level of an offer Because what
Messi's going to make tens of millions a year doing anything.
No, but this is different
No, but it's
wealth, isn't
hundreds
it?
of millions.
This is different.
Yeah.
Like this is
For the rest of your life, mate.
the kind of money that he's making here could be more than he's made in his career combined.
He's got to be close to a billionaire already.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
but-
I certainly think that. But this is suddenly like generational wealth. This is creating.
I also think having interests, like, look, David Beckham don't mean money anymore, but if you're just going to sit around being happy with your life, people enjoy running football clubs. They enjoy feeling like they're still a part of it. That's one way for you to still be a part of the game after. I can't see Messi being a manager, so, being involved in football.
I
in
could see
some
Ronaldo
aspect.
being a manager, same kind of level. I could see Ronaldo doing
I
it.
could see that going badly.
I can see it going badly. Real badly.
It's like Roy Keane. Roy Keane was great when he started, by the way, as manager. But you can't be that good of a player and manage players that aren't.
I've heard Thierry Henry talking about it, and he's just trying to explain to players like, you just do this, this, and this, and they're just like, what?
And like Zidane was lucky because he managed elite players.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you can't. Yeah.
The motivation here, though, is definitely money. Like Lionel Messi is just shy of a billionaire currently. So this tips him into the billionaire bracket, the billionaire boys club. This is where it's going to place him.
Would you invite Messi into the club? Would he be allowed to come sit at the table with you
mate.
boys?
Yeah,
Mate.
yeah, he's welcome.
He can have the club.
He is welcome.
We'll start covering all the Inter Miami games if he wants.
Well, that's you say that as a joke, but it will have that impact. Like
Yeah.
like Lionel Messi.
Subscribe.
It won't
Go
have
to
that.
Miami
It won't
Street.
have that impact on me. I won't watch that. But I think there's a lot of people that will watch because Messi's playing, and then I think there's all
I
those
hope he's
people that
good.
seem to support.
I hope
Messi.
he's good.
For example,
I hope he doesn't get found out.
I don't know about you. You're a bit of a Beckham fanboy as well. I know you're a
Oh,
Villa fan,
big
but you're
time.
I was a Man United fan, Beckham fanboy. I bought an LA Galaxy shirt. I started watching LA Galaxy streams on my laptop at like 4 a.m. in the morning, just to see David Beckham.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi is on another level to that.
Yeah.
So he's
But
gonna
also,
have the
there's
same
a lot of people, aren't there, that
Big chance.
genuinely support.
Hey!
Not giving it. There's a lot of people that support Lionel Messi. It's an alien concept to me, but there are a lot of people that don't necessarily support a club. They support the club that the player.
It's like me with basketball. I watch the Lakers for LeBron James. I watch Miami for Jimmy Butler. Like, I support players.
Yeah, like that exists in football as well, I think.
Yeah, it does.
And those people will obviously now support
Lionel Messi
an
FC.
MLS. Yeah, and they'll be invested in MLS games and whatever.
And I think the World Cup coming up is going to be huge as well. And then you look at the crossover between, I know it's in USA, Mexico, Canada. Obviously, a lot
But
of the
do you know
Spanish
what?
speaking in Mexico will be.
But you see, that's what it will
Copa
be part
America
of as well.
2025.
That's what it will be part of. Like when Lionel Messi went to Paris Saint-Germain.
It was part of the Qatar.
Part of that was to create a sort of amazing triumvirate of brands. You had
Messi is basically live golf.
yeah. Well, what you had at the same time, you had Nike, Paris, and Messi. In terms of like 3 iconic brands, that's what you had.
Yeah.
So now what you're going to have is you're going to have Messi, Miami, and Bex. Is it?
Miami,
Yeah.
I know this means nothing to you, but Miami have gained 6 million followers on socials.
Yeah, that matters. Of course, that
It's
matters. Yeah.
huge again, because if you look at like just sales of shirts, like loads will be sold through Instagram and things like
I think that happened. That happened in. Is it where does Cristiano Ronaldo play?
Saudi. Al Ahly.
LA. That happened to them as well. Their socials just sort of changed.
Yeah, I
beyond
follow
recognition.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
Yeah.
I will go out. I'll go out for a week in Miami. Watch Jimmy Butler. Watch Lionel Messi. I'm up for that. You up for that, Ro?
I'm up for the trip. Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
He doesn't sound too keen.
No, I'll go. I'll go. I don't.
Vincent, you on it, lad?
Listen, mate, if I get the invite, I'll be there.
Yeah.